Now let's take a spam email classification example to understand the information gain better. So let's discuss step by step procedure for spam email classification using information gain. So let's begin with data collection. So collect a data set of labeled emails where each email is tagged as either spam or legitimate. The data set should include the email content as the input feature and the corresponding label. Okay, let's get into that and let's do that step directly. Yep, this is our information gain. An example is email classification. So let's import the required libraries, and if you see here, import pandas as PD, then for feature extraction, count vectorizer, then we got the feature selection method here. This is what the mutual info class if. This is what mutual info class if and select k-best. And remaining things are model selection, try and test split, then navy base and matrix classification report. So these are not prime important for us. These two are important. This is one is a feature extraction technique, and then these are class selection technique. Out of that, you got this mutual info class if where you know we apply the information gain. Okay, info class if this is for the classification. Specifically, if it is a regression, you will have a different module. For this is for the classification, and that's what these things has to be imported first. Once that is done, so we have to go with the generate sample email data set, and this is what, and it's been labeled with spam, legitimate, legitimate, and when you create data frame, you will have two columns. One is label, other one is email, and that's it. Then we'll move on to the second step. Then we have the data pre-processing. So perform necessary pre-processing steps on the email data, such as removing special characters, converting to lowercase, and tokenizing the text into individual words or tokens. So let's see what all we can do with our data set. And if you see here, this is our data set, and we have split the data set into features and labels, and X is basically our features and Y is our label. Of course, this is our outcome. It will consist of a labels. So labels are spam, legitimate. These are our labels, and then email information. This is this is our email information. Get a free vacation now, exclusive deal buy now, and save 50 percentage. Meeting tomorrow at 10 a.m. Reminder, pay your bills on time and confirm your email subscription. And these are all our email data, and spam, legitimate is our label data. Okay. So now let's also look into the uh, uh, let's move on to the step 3. So step 3 is feature extraction. So extract features from the pre-processed email data. In the case of spam email classification, one common approach is to use the presence or absence of specific words as features. So create a list of relevant words known as vocabulary that you want to consider as features, and that's what we will be doing here. So feature extraction and then encoding. So vectorizer, and we have instantiated count vectorizer class object, then x encoded. So we have called up the fit transform method, and our features has been encoded. This is basically we call it as a feature extraction and encoding. Okay, then Once that's done, we will move ahead to the next step. It's feature encoding. Anyway, feature encoding, encode the feature using a suitable encoding scheme such as the bag of words representation or term frequency inverse document frequency TF-IDF. Okay, but we have taken this method. Let's move on to the next step. Now it's time to calculate information gain. Obviously, calculate the information gain and do the feature selection. So, calculate the information gain for each feature. Here it's each word using the information gain formula discussed earlier. So, this involves calculating the entropy of the target variable, spam versus legitimate, and the conditional entropy for each feature. And that's what we will be doing there. So let's move on to that step. So feature selection is obviously using information gain. So feature selection using information gain, and so here we'll have a k is equals to 2 and select the top features. Select top two features, so that's what we want. So that's why we have taken k as 2. Then selector is select k best. Our class object has been instantiated, and here you can see that select k best. And inside that score function, what we have used, the score function that we have used is mutual info classif, and that is nothing but your information gain. And k value is 2, and x selected is this x encoded. And if you want to see what is x encoded and x selected, so x encoded is this, and I print this. This is what our x encoded, because it's been encoded. This is how you see, and from that encoded, what we got is x selected, and this much of information has been selected out of that. You see that? Okay. So that's what the feature selection using information gain, and that's how it's been done. So the these many features out of this much, out of these many, so these many features were selected. Okay, that's it. With this feature selection using information gain was done. So what's ahead is nothing but selecting the top features and sort the features based on their information gain values, and select the top n features with the highest information gain. So these features are the most indicative of spam emails. And after that, you have to build a classification model. Let me look into this. Yep. And then you have to build the classification model. Use the selected features to build a classification model such as Naive Bayes or logistic regression or support vector machines. So train the model using the labeled dataset. And similarly, the last step is to model evaluation. Then evaluate the performance of the classification model using the suitable evaluation metrics like accuracy, precision, recall, and F1 score. F1 score. So split the data set into training and testing sets for the evaluation. And final one is to model deployment. Once the model is trained and evaluated, it can be deployed to classify new unseen emails as spam or legitimate. So that's what no. The most important steps under this are selecting the top features using the information gain. After that, it's a model building, which is part of machine learning that we will see when we work on the project. But at this moment, our focus is only on selecting the features and using information gain, and that's what we did it here. So that's it.